Um, but tonight I figured we would talk about different ways that we can measure progress with our workouts. So how to tell that we're actually making progress, and talk about some ways that like we can challenge our bodies to make progress if we kind of ever feel like we're at a standstill or maybe not seeing some of the changes that we want. So one of the ways that like we all typically kind of think about making progress in our movement is going up in weight. So are we using a heavier weight? Are we using a heavier dumbbell? Like, are you going up in weight? And that's one way to challenge your body. And if one of your goals is to, build muscle and build strength, then going up in weight with the equipment that you're using or resistance is one way to be able to measure you're making progress with your movement. Another way that you can measure if you're making progress with your movement is the number of reps that you're doing. So if doing, squats, maybe I'm just spitballing stuff, but like if you're doing squats with, 20-pound dumbbells by your sides, and then at first you could do 10 reps, and then you're like, oh, well, now I can do 12, and those are pretty easy. Now you do 15, like that's your body being able to do more with the same, even if you keep the weight the same. Now you can also make progress or tell that like you are getting stronger if those things also become way easier. So you do have to bump up where maybe you are, and Carrie, I know we've kind of talked about it, but like you're doing certain movements with whatever dumbbells, and then you're like, oh yeah, that's super easy, time to bump up the weight. Then if you're doing things like Tori exercises, because I know a lot of you guys have Tori exercises too, doing them for a longer. I thought you were saying something. Hi, Carol. But the Tori exercises, sometimes maybe you could only walk backwards for like, I don't know, a couple hundred yards or not a couple hundred yards, a couple hundred feet. But walking a certain distance, and then you can bump those up, and that becomes easier. So that's another way to, make progress in some of the movements that you're doing. And even in some of the Tori exercises, maybe, she said, sorry, I just muted. I'm about to start driving. Okay. Totally fine. Drive safe. So you can make progress doing the movements longer, or if in some of the Tori exercises, maybe your range of motion improves with the movement that you're doing. I know with some of the crawling and some of the rolls, sometimes one side feels a little bit stickier than the other, but you can, as those things start to become more natural and feel a little bit easier, that's another way that you can tell or measure that you're making progress in the workouts. And like the whole reason why we're talking about measuring progress in our workouts, in our movements, is because the body is super adaptive. So if you're always doing the same movements with the same weights, or, weeks and weeks on end, the same distance, like you're not necessarily challenging your body to make progress. So that's something that, like, even with your Tori exercises, or if you're doing program from Maritza and I, is definitely keep track of your progress. Can you do things with certain pound dumbbells, and maybe you've done them for a couple weeks, and now it's time to like challenge yourself a bit. And you can challenge yourself using any of the methods that like we just kind of talked about. Is you can go up in weight, you can do more reps, you can maybe go longer distance. Another way to challenge yourself in a movement is to slow it down. I know in some of the programming that I do, Marlena knows, like I'll put your tempo for the exercise in there. So that's like how quickly or how slowly you're doing the movement. So maybe, if you're doing a squat, we're going 3 seconds on the way down. So not just a quick up and down, you're going 1, 2, 3 on the squat. And personally, I hate those, but they are beneficial. So you can really slow down the tempo, or even add something like a pause in the movement that you're doing. So maybe you're squatting and do a pause at the bottom those also burn, but those are a different way to make something more challenging, even if maybe you don't have that equipment at home. Because I know some people like have certain weights that they have and they're like, they're getting stronger. Maybe you're not ready to buy new weights. So we have to find ways to make the exercises more challenging so that you're going to continue to send that signal to your body to build muscle, to improve your endurance, maybe your cardiovascular system, if you enjoy running, because I know we got a couple runners in Fitme. So it's always challenging your body and continuing to do that. Now, the rate at which you do that could be totally different for everyone. I personally just put, referring back to like weight training, I log all my training with what weights I do, how many reps, and sometimes I'll even put notes how I feel that day. I don't know if you guys are super competitive, but I'm always competitive with myself. So like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm not going down in weight because, you know, I don't want to admit that I have to go down, but during different times of, you know, the cycle, depending on how often or like how your sleep was, how your energy is, sometimes I do have to adjust. So I sometimes make notes on how I'm feeling that day. Like if I'm feeling really sluggish, really tired, like exhausted, like I think I told you guys I was last week, I wasn't training as hard because I'm like, if I do, I'm probably going to get hurt. But then now I'm feeling a lot better, a little bit more settled, not feeling so drained. So like I could probably go back to some of the heavier weight, but ease into it after taking a little bit of a break off. So I'm just curious, have you guys tried all of these different types of ways to, you know, make progress in your exercises, or maybe some of them new?
Well, I guess I'll go first. Like you said, what I found is I use dumbbells a lot. So, I mean, you can, you know, it's easy to see if you're progressing or not progressing. But one thing that I have noticed is sometimes, and like you said, if you're having a bad day or haven't been eating right, you know, recovering from illness, sometimes you regress a little bit, but that doesn't mean you're not making progress. Sometimes progress is going back in weight so that your form is appropriate, because if you're getting kind of tragic in your form, you're going to harm yourself. It's actually, I think that there's a control component to strength training that shows progress, even if you're not showing progress maybe in your weight or reps. If you're able to more control your muscle, like for instance, today I had to drop back. I have Monday is a really, really hard workout day. So 45-minute, I do splits. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mondays, it's a 45-minute and the rest of them are 30 minutes. And so that extra 15 minutes is hard. But I do a lot of biceps, and biceps are one of the weaker muscles just in your body in general. So if you're not firing on all your cylinders, had a bad weekend, whatever, it's hard. So I dropped back from 15 to 12 pounds dumbbells today to do the last part of my biceps because my form wasn't good. But when I dropped back to that 15 pounds, I was able to focus on, you know, engaging my abs better, engaging my obliques better, squeezing my glutes better to give myself a better, you know, frame for, where if I was using the heavier weights, I'd be focusing on, oh my God, my biceps are killing me.
Oh,
and arching my back, because it just, you know, I could do the better weight, I could do the bigger weight, but that doesn't mean it would be better. So sometimes I think progress is more about muscle control than it is about weight.
No, I definitely agree, because if your form's not right, like you said, Carrie, like you're just going to be using all the other muscles and not necessarily using the ones that, you know, you're looking to do the exercise to target. So, you know, if you're doing bicep curls, you want to be using your biceps, not like you said, swinging it around or like using your back to be able to get it up. And I feel like you make better physical progress when your form is on point. That was something I learned the hard way through multiple injuries by having crappy form. And then once I learned how to do things correctly, I was like, oh, I'm seeing results a lot quicker because actually doing them right. But even if it's something that I was thinking of, if like your movement is just walking, then, you know, your ability to walk a mile, if that's something you're timing, or how many miles can you walk in a 30-minute time frame, or, you know, are you able to hit your mile in a 30-minute time frame if you're walking? Those are different things that you can use to measure progress if that is the movement that you're doing. Or if you're doing other things like CrossFit, I know they have certain timed workouts. I think they do AMRAP workouts, which are as many reps as possible. So how many rounds can you get in your workouts? And everybody's workouts look different. But the reason I wanted to talk about that is that to make sure we are, well, one, like Carrie said, paying attention to form for sure. But are you actually doing things to continue to challenge yourself and push yourself? Because that's how your body's going to continue to progress. Like Tori exercises at first were probably hard. It may be a little bit like not how you're used to like moving your body, you know, and then now that you guys, I know you guys do them a lot. So then now those things have become easier. And then maybe you're progressing to strength training. Julie, I know we talked about it since you've been doing well with Tori exercises and not in pain. And Terry, I think you're moving into strength training here soon, maybe.
She's added some like dead bugs with 5-pound weights and
okay.
So I didn't. The program I did today, it said 30 minutes, but I think it's going to be. I didn't do it all, Carrie, because I had a 30-minute window this morning. In fact, I switched it up because the one that I had was longer. So I'm like, oh, this one says 30 minutes. And normally when Tori says it takes 30 minutes, it takes 30 minutes. But this one didn't have like the time with it. It was like, do this many reps. And then do this many reps. And then do this many reps of this and this many reps of this. And then go back and do it again. And you did it 3 times. Okay. So I ran out of time. So I did the first set. I did the breathing, you know, you always do breathing exercises. And then I did the first set. And then I went down to the end of it. So, but, you know, on a day where I don't have to leave the house early in the morning, I can maybe do that one. But I am a good 30-minute focus exercise girl. So past that, it's like, so.
And I think, but that's good to know about yourself. And that's something like on the initial, you know, movement calls that we're having, like if you, like the ones that I'm like doing the strength training for, is that I want to know that thing. Cause like, if I write you a 45-minute workout, then that's just not going to work. And even Marlena and I were talking about that too. Cause she's like, Tabby, I think these are just a little too long. So we're going to like switch it up the next time she has it so it fits her schedule better. Because you want it to be something that like fits your life that you're doing. And you can get a solid workout in 30 minutes, 40 minutes. You can get a solid workout in 10, 15 minutes. So, yeah. You know, and that's the thing where it like doesn't have to look the same every week.
And I really thought I had a really busy day, which I don't Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I don't normally go into town, but this week I am every single day. It's going to kill me. So I knew I just had X amount of time. So I don't know if, I thought I was going to come back home and finish it. I didn't get home till about 4:30. So I knew once 4 o'clock hit, that is my downward slope. So all my energy is gone and I'm done.
You do better than me. It's 3 o'clock. My brain turns off.
Well, if I would be truly honest, it's probably closer to 3. So I'm pretty proud that I'm cooking dinner right now because I looked at it and went, we could have leftovers again, which my husband would not, he would not be happy about that. But so we're having meatballs with spaghetti sauce and asparagus, and I'm going to throw some rice in my sauce to make it a Fitme plate. So yeah.
I could eat rice as my carb with every meal. I love it.
Yeah, I normally stick to rice or in the morning oatmeal because it's just easy. And my husband is trying to do keto, so he won't eat a carb at night. So I'll cook potatoes occasionally.
Well, that's nice because then you can have your carb, and if he doesn't want his, then.
And rice is so easy to make.
Yeah, totally agree. But now you know for that that morning workout that you have, that you'll just like, I'll have to do that on a day where I have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
But at least you still got part of it done. So it still counts as movement and still counts as you getting your intentional movement in for the day.
Right. That's why I make sure it's 30 minutes to get my intentional. So
checking the box off. But yeah, I think really trying to measure your movement, and you can do it in, whatever way works for you. I like it in the app because then I don't have to carry around paper and pen, writing it down somewhere. If I do that, it's 100% going to be lost. Like I will never find it ever again. You could do it in a note on your phone. And then like if you are doing it in the app, your coach can see that too. And then for you ladies doing the Tori exercises, it could just be, maybe doing it as reps, like you said, Terry, depending on what she has programmed for you. Distance, maybe timed. I know that she'll talk about like how long she wants you to walk, or like how far distance wise. So maybe potentially like timing yourself. Is it getting easier? And maybe it's just to see like, okay, what is my baseline? Like, can I maybe move a little bit faster and it feel good? And then you're like, all right, well, let's see how much I can, continue to do there, and kind of push yourself to be able to make progress, whatever that is. And I think it's going back to like, okay, understanding what is your goal and how does that progress relate? Because if your goal is to not be in pain and not have pain when you do certain movements, like just throwing dumbbells up doesn't make sense, we don't want you to be in more pain, but seeing how your body is changing too. Like Julie, I know we've talked about a lot of knee pain and back pain has been gone for you. That's 100% a way to measure progress based off Tori exercise. How does your body actually feel? And your body feels way better. And I know we were talking about doing squats, but like your body's feeling better with Tori exercises. That's 100% a way to measure that you're making progress there.
Yeah, it definitely has made a difference. And that's how I'm seeing progress. I mean, my goal at the beginning of the year was to be able to do squats and lunges. And the fact that I can do a few here and there, not all the time, but a few is, it's really made a huge impact.
Yeah. And the fact that you can do that without any pain.
Yes, without pain. That was the goal. Do it without pain. That and changing my shoes.
Yep, I know you love the shoes. But yeah, that's 100%, the way that with like the Tori exercises is going back to what your goal is. So if you're trying to build muscle and build strength, then you have to continue to challenge your body to do that. If your goal is to build up your endurance with your training, then, maybe doing a time thing or a distance thing, depending on if you're running, if you're walking, if you're jogging, or maybe a mix of both. But that way, and can kind of keep track to how you are doing in the movement. Terry, like I know, didn't you add weight or something to your backwards walking. I think that was something that you did. You either added weight or you did something different with your backwards walks.
Yeah, I added more weight to my backwards drags. Yeah.
That's what it was, the backwards
Yeah.
drag.
Yes. So
Is it
and
getting
she
better, Terry?
Hmm?
Are you enjoying it more? Is it getting better with that?
Well, so I've been doing backwards drags. And I just upped the weight. I think I was doing 40, now I'm doing 50. And she just like this week added weights per se to my routine because I was kind of complaining.
I haven't done the drag yet, so I'm just curious. So
Oh, mine is a makeshift drag because I have a bath mat. I have tile downstairs in my basement, so I have a bath mat flipped upside down with some straps, ring row straps, and then two 25-pound dumbbells or kettlebells wrapped around, and I just drag those puppies.
works.
Yeah, it is working.
Yeah.
But Tori did probably 3 months ago, told me to up my steps, and she wanted me to do 15,000 a day, and I said no. I said there's not enough time in the day to do 15,000 steps, and so we compromised to 12. So, and I average between 11 and 12,000 steps a day. So
Okay, well, that's you increasing your movement
yeah,
and distance.
yeah. Hey, I carried 4 40-pound bags of salt down to our basement today. We have a water softener. So I was going to wait for my husband. I thought, I can do it better than him and not get hurt because he has a bad shoulder. So I hauled them down, and so far so good. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Did you throw them over your shoulder, like carry?
No, I just kind of lifted them with both hands, like a cradle, like a baby. So, yeah.
So the backwards drags have been working. They're helpful.
Yeah, they have. Surprise, surprise.
They are fun.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah. Because it's like challenging to see if you're going up in weight or like it becomes easier. I know at some gyms they have like the sleds, because I don't know if that's what she demonstrates that exercise with, is a sled at the gym. And we would used to do them either in soccer, or if like I'm doing like a metabolic conditioning type sort of thing where it's like you're like kind of doing the pushes or the pulls, and we've done them sideways before. Those are hard. Doing it like a sideways pull, they're very challenging.
That would hurt.
I
think that would hurt my knee.
It's definitely like it's an awkward movement at first, but once you get it, it's like very core intensive too. Like holding your core, like holding you up as you're pulling and walking sideways. Definitely very challenging. But do you guys have any questions, any ways that like maybe you can start implementing how you're keeping track? Oh, Carrie, I think you're muted if you're talking.
Sorry, I was muted. I'm like, wait, where's the mute button? I'm trying to clear up. I'm at work, obviously, so I'm trying to. Somebody interrupted and I missed a little bit. You had mentioned that you keep track of your progress in the app. Do that. So if you are using any type of exercise program that like Fitme programs, Tori exercises, weight training, anything like that, you can go into the app and you should be able to go down at the bottom of your screen and hit the kettlebell. So then when you go into the workout, you actually have to hit start the workout.
Now,
Okay.
when, and depending on what comes up, because it's how it's like in the app, is it should have like sets and reps listed there. If it's like strength training, if it's Tori exercises, I know usually she says a certain time, I think like a certain amount of minutes and or steps and whatnot, and then you should be able to log it in there.
Okay. So yeah, I guess I'd never hit the start button. I was just doing them. So it looks like I haven't done nothing happened.
It still counts. You're still doing them, even if they're not in the app.
They don't count they don't count, Carrie. No. Joking.
Everything you've been doing is out the window.
Just remember to hit finish if you're using an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or anything like that you're tracking, because if you don't hit finish, it just continues like you're still working out.
Oh yeah, I've done that before.
Same.
It looks like I did like 36 hours of spin class.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're good.
I've done that before too. Yeah, if you have an Apple Watch or like a Fitbit or something like that, you can also, I believe, access the workout through your device, and like you can hit start there. I'm not sure about like logging it or anything on that because I've never tried that.
It's harder to, well, I'm old, I can't see as well. So it's harder. Yeah, it's easier to do on my phone than on my watch. And I've relegated my watch to my foot. So to my ankle to get all my steps counted. So
that's funny. I think I've heard other people doing that. They should do that. I mean, I have the like Whoop thing, which is another fitness tracker, but I know that they have certain ones that you can put around like your arm, and I think they even have one that you can put around your chest, like
probably.
if you're a runner.
Yeah.
But they should do that with the Apple Watch. That actually would be kind of cool. I guess it would defeat the watch purpose, but you know.
Yeah, there should be something you can put on your shoe, maybe.
Don't they? Isn't that a pedometer? Isn't that? I think that's like the thing that like just tracks steps. So I'm wondering if that could like an ankle pedometer.
Well,
I think that's what it is.
A few weeks ago, and I probably already told you guys this, my sisters and I all went for a walk first thing in the morning. They all got higher steps than I did, and we walked the same amount. And so the joke is, wherever I go, I don't get my steps. So I don't know why.
I was going to say, are they shorter than you, Terry?
Well, Julie is, but I mean, she's not that much shorter than I am.
Yeah.
And my other two sisters are about the same height, maybe a little, when it comes to
so we're
sisters,
like talking
that
about
much
like
is a lot. Oh, Carol reached her destination.
Bye, Carol.
She has to leave. Oh, bye.
Oh, she left.
Yeah. So, yeah, or maybe I don't swing my arms like you're supposed to. I don't know.
Hey, well, it still counts that you did it, even if the tracker is not.
It's on my ankle.
Tracking the steps. Or
in wintertime, the jeans cover it, so we're good.
And people were like, "Why is this lady out on a walk? She's on house."
Yeah. One guy, and I always put it on my ankle when I go to the grocery store, and it was summertime, and one guy gave me a hard time. I said, I'm getting all my steps and they're going to count. So
he's probably like, lady, you should not be out of your house. What are you doing?
Yeah. Don't you have an ankle bracelet? No, he knew exactly what it was. So it was cute.
You know what's actually funny? The same thing happened to me with the Whoop, because they saw that I have because I have the Apple Watch on one, Whoop on the other, and I had the charger on, and it does look like an ankle monitor. And the doctor looked at me and they're like, is that a monitor? Like he was like I'm not supposed to be out of the house. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's just a fitness tracker. I was like, I'm not supposed to not be here.
Oh, that's cute.
It was really funny.
Cute.
I'm just dedicated to tracking all the health stats.
You're serious.
It was funny.
I put mine on my ankle when I'm using the bike, to be able to get my steps in when I'm using the exercise bike.
I
That's
do
good.
too. When I ride my bike in the summertime, I always put it on my ankle.
Yeah. Otherwise, you don't get steps.
You don't.
And I want those movements to count.
Yes. And I'm not going to ride my bike 10 miles and then walk, 10 more thousand steps. So, yeah, I put it on my ankle too.
Well, now
Step-
I'm gonna have to put mine on my ankle because now I'm
all
curious.
steps count. Well, carrying those 4 bags of 40-pound salt wouldn't have counted much because my wrist was still. And when you're going grocery shopping, your hands are usually on the grocery cart, so you don't get your steps there either.
Yeah, I've never had my my movement tracker count. I don't know how it knows that I'm not, if it's in the grocery cart, it must be that there's no jarring motion from your walking. It knows if I'm not holding that. I just use my phone, so I don't know about a watch, but it knows if that phone is not in my pocket or on my body. It's weird.
Oh, wow.
It's creepy. Yeah.
So if you keep it in your pocket, does it know?
Mhm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember.
I've heard that if you wear an Apple Watch and you have your phone in your pocket, it will still pick up your steps. But I haven't tested it.
Well,
So
I don't
maybe
have
it
an
needs to be
Apple Watch.
tested.
Yeah, I don't have.
Well, I'll test it because I have to go to the grocery store sometime in the next couple days. So
Now, a lot of time, my Fitness Pal, where we track food,
Mm-hmm.
it will have more steps calculated than what my watch does. So I don't know how it does that because it's connected to my watch. So
Yeah, I use Google Fit. I don't like my Fitness Pal very much. For whatever, I don't know. I can't handle more than one technology at a time. It's just too much. But my Google Fit, when I do use my Fitness Pal, usually I only do it when I'm tracking food for my food thing. When I do use it, it always calculates more calories burned, more steps taken than my Google Fit. So none of them are perfect. I imagine a fitness watch is probably the most accurate, and I should probably just break down and get one. But the last time I tried, it was a disaster. So disaster.
Oh,
I took it back.
And they're all just like, obviously, an estimate of if we can get close and all of that stuff. And I'm pretty sure I've listened to podcasts about this too, just because I'm like curious, like what the best thing is. Like when I was deciding to get a Whoop or the Oura Ring, because I know Christy has the Oura Ring. I think a couple people have that one. But yeah, it's funny because they're all like different. And you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But I will say
I love my Apple Watch.
Mm-hmm. I agree, Julie. I do like my Apple Watch. And I feel like
my daughter just got one and she loves it.
Yeah, I like mine.
And there's like new ones that just came out. I don't like, because that was
Sure.
something my mom asked me, like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, a new Apple Watch because my screen's broken, but I refuse to buy a new one until it like doesn't actually work, because I really only use it for very few things. But they have like ranges of ones where, I mean, they're like $700-800. And I always thought they were way cheaper for an Apple Watch, but some of them are pretty, I guess, like high tech. I didn't really look into the specs or anything, but
okay. So Tabby, take your Apple. Who do you go through? It depends on who you go through. So we go through Verizon, and I had the 7 without cellular, and I just upgraded to the 8 and got $180 off my Apple Watch. And it was like $499. And I got $180 off of it.
So the one I have, I'm pretty sure is like generation like 2, 3. So it's like pretty old. And I think I went in to see if they could, but you probably can't even tell in here, but my screen is like cracked all around the thing, like all on the side. The glass is all. So I don't know if they'll take
Well,
it.
Apple is trying to get everybody upgraded to their newer products. So even if it's damaged, they're taking phones as long as they don't have battery damage. They're taking phones and Apple Watches and giving you a trade-in discount.
All right. Well, then I'll have to let my mom know if she decides to give me that for Christmas. But all right, ladies, this was a good talk tonight. We learned that we can track our stuff in the app if you need to, if you're keeping track of your Tory exercises, your strength training, whatever. If you don't utilize the app and you need to write it down, you can use a note on your phone, a piece of paper. Literally, you could put it in a calendar if you want. Like if you have a paper calendar, maybe write down some stuff that way you can see. But yeah, listen to your bodies, keep it, based on the goal that you're trying to achieve to measure your progress. Could be number of reps, weight used, how long you're doing it, the distance, anything like that. So, but continue to, challenge yourself and challenge yourself in your movement. All right.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you guys.
Did you celebrate before tonight, or are you going to celebrate?
We celebrated this weekend. So my sisters, I moved back home on Friday. So that was Friday. And then Saturday, I knew that they were doing something for me. I just didn't know what it was. So then my friends and sisters kind of like came together to like plan a little like backyard picnic thing. So all my friends came over, which I just like did not expect because we're all like a little scattered and different stages of life, I guess. And then everyone came over. So it was like super sweet. I was really touched.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Cool.
It was a good way to celebrate, coming home and turning 30.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you guys.
All right. See you next week.
All right. I will see you next week.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.